Welcome to another edition of Let's Play Farming Simulator 2013 on Lomerheim. Alright, got a couple things going on today. We got this field, currently it is seeded and fertilized and ready to go. So let's hop into our other tractor over here. I'm just going to turn down my sound. So we got our Schulter here, he is currently seeding this. Let's go ahead and fire him up and continue on with what I was doing. Now some people have said that, oops, it gets us ready to go. Some people have said that you have to like tap the plus key to make it go faster. I'm tapping it right now, nothing, so it just depends. Doesn't do anything for me, I guess, I don't know. Anyways, just thought I'd try that out. So we're gonna get this field seeded and we need to get this field fertilized as well. Anyways, I have kind of come to an executive decision based on what people have said about the series and whatnot. If you recall from last episode, I asked you guys, what do you guys think we should do with this series? Where should we go with it? And some people said you should keep the more realistic series around. Other people are like, no comment, whatever. So some people liked it, some people don't. Some people like the length, some people don't like the length. So it really comes down to the person themselves. So some people really like the length and some people think it's a little too short to get anything done. Which I can understand. I can understand that 100%. So this is what I have decided, and I hope you agree with me. Let me know what you guys think. What I'm going to do is this is going to be the last episode for this series. And I will do another series on a small map again. However, this is what I'm thinking. I'm going to do like an alternating series. So what I'll do is on one day I'll do a big map, let's say, and then the next day I'll do the small map, and I'll alternate between the two every single day. So that means that you guys won't get the same thing every single day. You'll still get it, just on every other day, basically. And also that means what I'll do is I'll make the episodes longer. So on the small map there'll be about a half-an-hour episode or so, and then on the big map there'll also be about half an hour, 45 minutes or so as well. So that means that you'll get a good mix of the small map and the big map together. So that's what I kind of just decided in the end. I talked over with a couple guys and they were saying, yeah, it's a pretty good idea. And the main reason why I'm going to do this is basically because I don't want you guys to get burned out on watching Farming Simulator. I put out a lot of videos in a week, 14 videos a week, so, and I know for a fact that not everybody watches both series, and that's fine. I totally understand that. It's all about time management and whatnot, because we don't have time for everything we want to watch. So, in light of that, what I'll do is I'll only put out 7 videos a week, and it'll be alternating between a small map and a big map, basically. So right now, this will be the last episode of this series. And I know that some of you guys don't like that because you guys enjoyed the more realistic stuff. But what the new map, I haven't even chosen a new map yet. I kind of just made the decision today. So what I'm going to do is on the next small map, I'm not going to do more realistic. Not because I don't enjoy it, but there's aspects I don't enjoy about it, which make me enjoy it a bit less. Because I do like doing things with courseplay, for example, and being able to hire workers that work properly for me and whatnot. So in light of those types of things, that's the reason why I'm not going to do another more realistic map. Although I did enjoy it. And I do like this map specifically, so that's the idea. So you'll have one big map, one small map, and alternating days. So one day it'll be a big map, one day it'll be a small map, and vice versa, basically. So that's the idea I'm thinking of. Or that's what I'm going to do, I should say, sorry. So because of that, I'm going to make this episode, seeing as it's the very last episode, I'm going to make it a bit longer. I looked back and I didn't see any specific goals for this map, so I'm just going to, you know, finish up the day today at work, so to speak, working on the farm, I mean, and then from there there'll probably be a break between this map and the next map, but after I determine what would be a decent map to move to, I'll move to it, and then you'll have an alternating episode every single day. So you'll have 2 different series still, But what will happen is you'll have one big map and one small map, basically. So let me know what you guys think about that. I'm pretty excited about it because it does mean that it'll be a bit of alternating between two different things, a little bit of change every single day. I don't know. It just it seems like the right thing to do. I've enjoyed this series, but not as much as other ones, let's say that. And I think it's just due to the fact that the more realistic mod just allowed me to not do some things that I would normally do. So that's what it kind of boils down to, at least. Although I did find when I played with Northern Warrior, that was a lot of fun to do the multiplayer thing. So I'll see maybe in the future to if I'm able to get some more multiplayer stuff ready to go. The problem with that is just, you know, managing other people's schedules with your schedule is what it really boils down to, because it's not easy to make sure everyone has the same schedule or is able to do it, basically. So I have done multiplayer stuff, not so much recording, but I've played other games where you need to have everyone together and do that, and it's not easy. So that is the plan. That's what I think. That's what I'm going to do. So like I said, let me know what you guys think. I'll respond to the comments and see what you guys have to say about it. I'm not sure what to call the next series, though. I can't really call it a mini-series anymore because it won't be so mini. It'll be a regular length episode, it'll just be a regular length episode, but it won't be it'll just be on a small map, basically. Excuse me. Trying to get a drink of water there. So that's the idea. Anyways, that's my little administration work for the day, I guess, in regards to the season and whatnot. And if you are upset about that decision, well, I'm sorry. It's also another reason why I'm changing it to this particular format is because doing the 2 videos a day on the same game, just I don't know. It made me feel a little burned out with Farming Simulator. Not a whole lot because it's different maps and whatnot, but it does require a little bit more drive, I suppose is the word I'm thinking of, which I definitely have for this game. But I definitely found my drive for playing this game weaning a little bit as of late, just because I didn't enjoy playing on this particular with more realistic mod is what it kind of boiled down to. So that's my feelings. Anyways, I think I'm gonna stop talking about it. Leave a comment, let me know what you think. Moving on now, Ian. Alright, so we're almost finished seeding this field. After taking out the ELS mod, or taking out the original ELS mod that I had installed, it made a big difference on this particular map. Or being able to use this, because each tractor was able to go just a little bit faster, which made things a little bit less time consuming to do, which is nice. So that is the deal with that. Oh, gotta slow down here. Oh, one quick note before I forget again. Like I said, there probably will be a bit of a break between the end of this series, which is this episode, and the starting of the next one. I don't foresee it being a long break just because I have an idea as to what map to do it on already. But just to give you a heads up is what it boils down to. And maybe we'll have a guest appearance on the small map or the big map again as well. It's possible, so it's nice to have the conversation going back and forth a little bit. Kind of seems a bit strange sometimes when you're talking to yourself for a long time. If you do like a long recording session and you're like, oh, I feel a little parched because I've been talking, but you realize you've been talking to yourself for the last, hour, 2 hours, whatever it happens to be. So it is kind of funny when you think about it, but just the way it is. So anyways, the new map I'm thinking of is the one I'm thinking of right off the top of my head is actually, it's somewhat a small map. It has smaller fields on it. And it also has beef cows on it as well. There are bigger fields on the map as well, but they're not all big fields and they're not all small fields. So it's kind of like a mix of, small and large fields. What else can I tell you about it? how about this? See if you can guess what map I'm thinking of. I'll give you a couple hints. It's another German map. It has beef cattle in it. It also... The main farm itself is pretty tight in terms of maneuvering and whatnot. You have the ability to manually go pick up fertilizer and store it on your farm. What else? It has pigs on it as well. So those are the clues, I guess. What else might it have? I think it has a gravel pit in the map as well. Is there anything else? I think that's it. So let me know what you guys think, which map it is I'm thinking of. It was a map I was going to play on before, actually. And I liked the map, but I didn't think it was a nice map for this series, because I was thinking about using the more realistic series on that particular one. But I didn't in the end, obviously. So yeah, so that's the map I'm thinking of. I don't remember the name offhand, but I also want you guys to guess to see if you can figure out which map it is. Yeah, that's what I'll do. So we are planting barley here because I believe there is a barley great demand coming up, yes, in 2 hours, and also in 3 days. There's a great demand for barley, so we're going to need to capitalize on that. And I'm going to, let's just do this. Let's cut this field in half here. And the reason I'm doing this is just because I want to straighten out the edges a little bit. And hopefully by doing this, we'll be able to straighten the edges. You would never cross the field like this. But, you know, this is Farming Simulator, so it doesn't make a huge difference in terms of what you actually do in this game. Which is kind of unfortunate, actually. It'd be nice if it had a bit more realism in the game in terms of certain things, like if you plant a certain way, it increases your yield. That would actually encourage me to, you know, not go around in circles on this particular field, for example. Like if you could, you know, increase your yield by, you know, making sure your rows are straight, or making sure your spacing, or your how consistent your seed drop is and stuff like that, then yeah, of course I would do those things. But this is Farming Simulator. It's not that detailed, unfortunately. So all right, let's just turn down here again. Perfect. Look at that. So on the new map, this is also what I'm thinking. I'm thinking small vehicles again, and then it may progress into larger vehicles as well. It just depends. So it would have, you know, I think the map itself is actually a kind of a hilly map as well. Now that I think about it, so it will have some stuff, some hills involved, and there will be some trucking involved too. So we may need to get a semi as well. I'll start, like I said, I'll start off with small tractors, and we'll see how we go from there. I'm just gonna keep for now. I'm gonna just keep doing the Bayern farm because I really like that farm, and we have lots of possibility for what's the word I'm looking for? Not improvement, let's say, but expansion. There we go. Yeah, so we have lots of possibility for expansion on that map, but we haven't expanded that much yet. So in light of that, like I said, I'm just going to keep working on that map for a few more episodes, and then maybe at some point I'll call it a day on that farm, and then we'll go from there, basically. Alright. And this is the funny thing about this particular map, this with a more realistic mod. I could hire, well, let's just see. The worker itself does really big loops. Now, this is going up a hill and it is a square now, so maybe the worker will work perfectly fine, but for the most part, hard workers, for me at least on this particular map with a more realistic mod installed, so. Huh, well, there you go. As soon as I get in there, no problem. Now, if I take the all-wheel drive off, you won't be able to get up that hill, probably. Oh, goodness. And that's another reason why I'd like to move. Just dealing with all these little tiny things has just been... Oh, we had a seeds? Yes, we're out of seeds. Let's go get some more seeds. So we are going to go into a little bit into the hole, but what will happen is as the crop grows, we'll be able to recoup our costs fairly easily, just because we'll get a great demand for barley, which will be nice. Whoa. Apparently that is a enormous jump there in this tractor. While it can take it, probably not a suggestive thing to do. Oh, I should have gone the other way. Oh, I could do this. I don't know why, but a lot of the vehicles, when you go over those ruts back there, they do not like them at all. It's like the ruts in the Serbian farm. I don't know why, but there were a few vehicles on that farm that really, really didn't like those ruts. And it was very obvious. Alright, let's refill our seeder here. What we're at? Ooh, we're getting kind of low here. Yes, very low. I'm not too worried about it at this point, though. Are we going to be able to make that turn? Apparently the gate's going to go right through us. Oh, man. Let's just go out this way. Actually, we can turn around now. It's safe. It's safe to turn around now. It's funny, I like this seeder, and oh, that's a bench. I like this seeder because it has the it's just a pull seeder, and it works really, it's really simple, but it does act a little funny on some things. Like you hit a bump or anything, it just flies all over the place. When it says it's 3 meters wide, it doesn't quite seem like it's 3 meters wide, which is a bit strange. So I don't know why that's the case, but like, let's see if I can go over this slowly and see how the seeder reacts. Yeah, it still hops over the place. Not like I was driving fast there either, but in this seeder's eyes, I was driving fast, so. Alright, let's square off this little section here. Nice. And for the new seasons, or for the new season of the small map, let's say, what I was thinking about doing is not necessarily limiting the number of episodes, but doing something like that where I try and set like a soft limit. Well, I guess I already have a soft limit because I go for 20 episodes or so and then go from there basically. And then, you know, if we need to increase the number of episodes, or if we need to, you know, cut it short like we did in the Serbian farm kind of because of map saves and whatnot, then we can do that as needed basically. Oh, we're gonna get that last little bit there. No, we're gonna miss a little tiny square. Oh well. Ah well. This tractor, even though it's not the fanciest tractor, it actually doesn't do a bad job at all actually. I don't mind it so much. I wasn't sure if I was going to like it. I still don't like it as much as the mods I can get, but it is a nice tractor regardless. It's funny, the way I'm seeding this field right now is probably the way you'd cultivate more than anything else. Not so much seeding. Oh well. I don't know. It would look a little funny if I were to seed this way, because you'd have... I guess it depends what kind of seeding you're doing. If you're planting corn like this, it would be ridiculous. If you were planting wheat like this, it's a little bit more likely, but not 100%. I was reading an interesting article the other day, actually, about corn planting, and what they were talking about is corn spacing between plants in cornfields. And then what they're talking about doing is, depending on the type of, it was in relation to a new header they were trying out, or that came out, and they were saying that if you could plant corn closer to each other and use this particular header, you could actually increase your yield. But it was a very particular type of header. Instead of it being like the teeth like you would have in most corn planters, it didn't have the teeth in a traditional sense. It still had them, so it kind of separated the stalks, but it didn't have like the long teeth. So basically you could drive any direction you wanted to. You didn't necessarily have to follow a row like you normally do with corn. You didn't have to follow a row, and then you could plant your corn with different spacing so it'd allow you to have more corn in the field. That's the idea, at least. I don't know how good that would be for, I don't know, like herbicides and stuff like that. Because I know a lot of guys, when they plant corn, they do, what do they call it? It's like a treatment to the corn underneath the corn ear, if that makes sense. So it's like they'll put like a special type of nutrient at the stalk, the bottom of the stalk, so close to the ground, close to the roots. And I don't know how that would be affected to something like planting corn closer together. So that's another kind of strange little tidbit of information, I suppose. But it was a pretty cool looking corn header, actually. It was, instead of having the long teeth, they were kind of like little nubbies, or little short teeth, I guess. And basically all it would do is like, it would just, you know, guide the corn stalk to the cutter, basically, which is kind of interesting, as opposed to having to follow the rows all the time. So it was an interesting article, actually. It was in I think Farmers Forum again. It's where I get all my agricultural related news. That, or from some people online. All the guys I follow online, like right now, the big craze in terms of agriculture and big ag, or big agriculture at least, is with what do they call them? Oh shoot, drones. There we go. In terms of drones and using drones to survey your property specifically. So what you would do is you would take the drone and you would, you know, fly it over your fields as you'd expect, and what you would do is then you'd be able to look at those pictures of your field and determine, you know, based on those pictures, what might the corn or other crop need. So for example, if it's a corn crop, you might look at it and say, okay, it needs to have some extra potassium, for example. I don't know if corn needs potassium, but I'm sure it does, but I can't remember if it needs a lot of it or not. Oh, I should really be pulling it up. That makes it a lot better. A lot quicker to turn around, at least. Anyway, so yeah, that's the idea behind the drones. You would just use a drone to survey your property or your crops, and then based on what you see in the pictures, you'd be able to determine whether you had to do something. Now, in the end, some people argue that you're going to have to go out to your crop and look at it personally anyways. Why would you get a drone? But this makes it a bit more efficient in terms of identifying the specific areas quicker. Because normally you would just drive around your crop, but if you can fly around your crop, I'm pretty sure you'll be able to cover a lot more distance, and you'll be able to see the middle as well of your crop. Because normally if you drive around your field, you won't be able to see in the middle of the field. And a lot of farmers do walk their fields as well, just to inspect the area to see what they may or may not need as well. So that's something that a lot of farmers do regardless, just to identify whether, so for example, with something like something like soybeans, a lot of farmers will walk their crops and look for things like aphids, for example, and whether they need to spray for aphids, and look for the telltale signs of that sort of thing. So things along those lines. If you're looking at canola, there's a certain, it's not canola, it's wheat. If you look through wheat and you see a lot of, I think it's fusarium, then obviously you need to deal with that as well. And the whole idea behind the drones is basically just to be able to identify these things quicker and easier using the drone. Now, the other side of this particular, of this coin, I guess, is the fact that if you do have a drone, how does that work in terms of, let's say the drone crashes, like, are you responsible for it, or is the computer system responsible for it? It kind of presents a really interesting situation in terms of legality of it, which a lot of the U.S. specifically is trying to address right now. I don't know too many farmers in Ontario, at least, that have gone to that kind of advanced technology in terms of drones and whatnot. I'm sure there are lots of them, but I don't know any personally, at least. That's what I'm trying to say. But it is pretty cool because you think about how that technology is actually used in the military versus how it's used in agriculture. So it's kind of strange that it's the same technology they use in the military to drop missiles and whatnot. But now in this case, they're using the same technology to, I don't know, sustain life. So it's kind of like two opposite sides of the coin. So, one way of thinking about it at least. I think it's really cool because I like a lot of technology related stuff. So I think it's really neat how farmers have kind of got onto this, I don't know what you call it, how they have got onto this sort of, I don't want to call it a bandwagon, but that's what comes to mind. They've got onto this thing and say, hey, this is what we could do with this, and if we can make it more efficient, and then we can go from there and basically increase our yields and whatnot, which is what the world's coming to these days. How much yield can you get from your crop? The more yield you get from your crop, you know, the more money you make, the bigger equipment you can get, the better you can sustain your farm, etc., etc. So it's pretty interesting regardless. But the other really cool technology that farmers have incorporated a lot is robotic milkers. I'm sure, as I've mentioned a couple times already, and that technology is just ridiculous. Like what you can do with one of those things is, it blows my mind. Quick little point: I talked about milking parlors the other day, and I forget who commented, but basically what they said was, yes, milking parlors do rotate, so that's pretty cool. I wasn't sure about that one. He said the milking, I can't remember the name, I should have brought it up. He said the milking parlors do rotate when you milk the cows, so it's kind of cool. So I guess the reference to a carousel does apply in this scenario, so that's kind of cool. Excellent. Alright, let's slow her down here. I was looking in Farmers Forum today, I guess it was. I was looking at some of the tractors I had for sale there, and a lot of John Deere tractors for sale. It's crazy. One of the things that surprises me the most about John Deere specifically is how much they retain their value even after they've been, you know, have X number of hours on it, and they're from the 70s basically. Like my father-in-law, for example, he has older John Deeres, and I'm pretty sure he could still turn around and sell them for a pretty decent price at this particular point in time, even though they probably have thousands of hours on them, and they are from the 70s. You can probably get a good little chunk of change. But he has an interesting mindset when it comes to keeping tractors and having multiple tractors. I think he's got like 5, or I think he's got 5 tractors. In the end, he doesn't use all 5 of them all the time, obviously, but he has 5 in case one breaks. Basically, you know, let's say you're baling with one tractor, you get out of that tractor, you hook the baler up to something else, and then just keep going basically. So, in that regards, it does make sense. But I don't know. I'm kind of in the middle ground. I'm like, it'd be nice to have fewer tractors, but at least one new tractor and have some older backup tractors, sort of thing, as opposed to all old tractors. But they are expensive. Like if you look at tractor prices these days, like for a big 7R series, for example, you're looking at, you know, 150,000 plus, and unless you have a big operation, it's not easy to afford that. So, especially in Ontario with the hydro prices going up, that's one thing they were talking about in the newspaper there as well, was that the price of hydro is going up. But if you identify as a commercial entity, I think it was, then you get like a discount on the pricing and whatnot. So a bit interesting actually. So like as a resident, as just a regular resident, I pay a bit more than a commercial facility would, but then again, I'll have to pay all the other taxes and fees that come with that as well. So, but that's one particular big factor for dairy farmers, because they do need to maintain quite a lot of